effectively?
Well, here's the tricky part. The only tricky part to me is you got Jay Ratliff, who's injured right now, and last year he was very injured. Before last season, he never missed any games. For 4 years, made a couple of Pro Bowls, never missed a game. Last year he was injured a lot. Training camp, he's been injured. He's supposed, if anybody's familiar with Tampa Bay, they know that Warren Sapp made the Hall of Fame, playing that middle. Well, that's what Jay Ratliff's supposed to do this year. If he's healthy. If he's not, Jason Hatcher's going to do it. The motivation for Hatcher is his contract's up. And if your contract's up, you're playing for your life. Get that money. Whether it's for Dallas or whether it's for somebody else, he's playing for his money.
Yeah, you're going to get that money.
So it should be interesting. All I'm wondering is, that Tampa 2 forces everything in the middle.
Yes.
And in the middle for y'all have Russell Merrill.
Yeah.
In the middle for y'all, who'd y'all have in the middle of the
Randy White.
Randy White.
John
See?
Or Leon Lett.
Or Leon Lett, yeah.
I love Leon Lett.
Yeah,
Like,
Big Cat.
Yeah.
And by the way, Big Cat is the coach for the defensive line.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
So he's teaching us some tricks.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
What did you see, Chris, speaking of start, what did you see this year as compared to last year in terms of the new offensive coordinator and new defensive coordinator? Any positives or negatives you've taken away from camp?
The positive is they've got all these guys, and as Dixon was talking about how you got to force turnovers and make some plays, they have these guys looking for the football all during training camp. In other words, they keep running out plays even though they don't have to. And the coaches are always saying, where's the ball, where's the ball, where's the ball? Because they want them to be aware that a situation isn't dead until the referee says it's dead. So they're trying to get in their brain, force turnovers, create turnovers. So that's what the defense is doing. On the offense, as you said before, Callahan is calling plays differently than Jason Garrett did. So he's going to actually call a few trick plays that Garrett would never call because Garrett was always looking at the process. Process. Definitely a key phrase. All I can say is, if I'm only giving them 9 wins, I'm sounding excited, but I can't give more than 9 wins because they get injured all the time. And it's all about who's healthy in December. Who's going to the Super Bowl is about who's healthy at the end. If this team was good enough to pile up enough victories, Dixon was telling us stories in the other room about how they would have so many wins by the time December rolled around. They weren't even game planning for the last 2 games of the year.
Yeah.
Back when Jimmy was coaching.
Yeah, we wouldn't even, so we would face, the team we were having week 16 was Cleveland. We wouldn't even practice against Cleveland. We practiced against teams that we potentially would be playing in the playoffs. And then we would learn about Cleveland the night before the game. And that's how good our team was, is that we didn't even practice against them. We were like, for what? We don't need them. We go out there and I'm telling you, that's how good. What the thing
So
is,
that's what the Cowboys have to do this year because they're always injured. They have got to win a whole bunch of games and have a cushion. That's the only way to be able to survive.
And the hurt is that you have to win those crucial 8 games. In the East. What is it in the East?
And that's the East.
In the East. You got to win the East. You know what I'm saying? Win 7 of the 8. That is what you got to do. Win 7 of the 8. Win two games of the top NFC team and then 2 of the top AFC team. You got it all. You done. As long as you win your division, the East, and you win 2 games over here, 2 games of the AFC and NFC, other teams that you got, and you will be there. That's all you have to do. And those games are very, very painful though, because you have to focus on them. Those are going to be very painful games. So. But I think they do have the opportunity to be able to get it done. They just have to see that. So
I'm going to shock you. I really believe they're going to win 11 games. I really do. If you look at what they did last year and the year before, and the way that they lost football games, they've infused a new offensive coordinator. They've got a new defensive coordinator. They've got a little bit more consistency that they've never had. And they've got a good nucleus of talented players. Des Bryant has come on to be a very good player. If Miles Austin can catch those 3rd down passes, which he hasn't been able to do these past couple of years, they're going to be a really good offensive force to be reckoned with. Defensively, they are not going to give up those big plays like they did in the past because Monty Kiffin will not allow it. They're gonna play a very containment type of defense, and they're gonna minimize the mistakes that they've made in the past. So I think they're gonna win 11 games. You heard it here first.
Wow.
Who's the biggest threat in the NFC East out of the Eagles, Redskins, or the Giants?
I say the Redskins, because they won it last year.
Yeah.
And if RG3 stays healthy, if he throws the ball instead of running the ball, and
Because this is the second year, right?
this is the second
Oh,
year. He
yeah.
was rookie of the year last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's, to me, that's Timmy. Now, New York Giants, their mentality is they can win 9 games and still win the Super Bowl because they've done it before.
Yeah.
See that when you know you've done it,
Yeah.
you just know, and they've lived it. So the first game of the season is going to be very important, I think, for the Cowboys because they're playing at AT&T Stadium against the Giants, where Eli Manning has never lost a game. He signed the visitor locker room wall. Do y'all remember that story? That joker signed the wall. They got to shut him up.
Did he win?
Yeah, he did. It was the first game in the stadium, and he signed the visitors locker room wall.
Wow.
Like, I own this place.
Wow.
I don't know if they took it down, but he signed it.
He's never lost. He's never lost it.
Never lost it.
Wow.
So
He
that
still thinks he's in high school, man. That's what high school.
he still got dumb face. He still got dumb face. Now, for everybody, this is what just kills me. Everybody thinks that Eli's this great quarterback because he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. I always say this. Who would you rather have, Eli or Peyton? Peyton's got 1 ring. Eli's got 2. I think everybody in this room would say Peyton Manning. Right? So stop counting rings.
Can't do that.
How many does Favre have?
Favre's got 1.
Yeah.
He went to 2, just like Peyton Manning. He got 1 ring.
I mean,
Dixon might argue with you about that. I think he's got 3. Is that right?
Yeah. No, but I like Favre. He was my number 1 quarterback. If I could pick one quarterback, so you're on the field, right? Could you imagine on the field and you're, playing, and you can hear the quarterback's ball going through the air. So I'm on the field, you can hear Favre's balls in the air as they came past you. That was just amazing to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm out there and this is the best seat. And then another really tight thing was Deion Sanders. That's the fastest man I've ever seen on a football field. Dude, have you ever heard somebody running on a football field? Like his feet was like, dude, he went past me like, it's amazing. Remember Oakland when he caught that ball on Rocket?
Yeah.
He passed him on the field.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. He purposely put himself like he was out of position so that they would throw the ball to Rocket, and he caught Rocket and mugged Rocket down, and then I'm sitting there like I'm supposed to be blocking, right? But this is like I'm like in amazement. I said, oh man, I need to turn around and block though, Dude, I tell you, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
There's a story I want to talk with you about, Timmy. December of 1985, playing against the San Francisco 49ers. You break a tackle from Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott was injured a little bit on that play. Can you tell us what happened on that play? Can you tell people that don't know what ended up happening to him?
Let's just put it this way. Every day he wakes up for the rest of his life. He tore off his pinky.
Was that the play?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You really bite it out?
I didn't bite it off. Well, I came off tackle and he came up on me and he stuck his hand in the cookie jar and I took part of his pinky with it. And so now it's a little nub right there.
And Ronnie Lott played the rest of the game.
He did.
That's part of his reputation, how tough he is.
Yeah.
He would not quit.
Nope. That was my favorite football player.
Yeah. Ronnie?
Ronnie Lott is my favorite football player.
Well, I'm his favorite player now.
Dixon, a question for you. You're a rookie in 1991. Next season, 1992, the Cowboys started their dynasty. As that season began in training camp, did you have the feeling, was there a feeling around the team that something special was about to happen with that group?
No.
Really?
No. I didn't feel it. It was just a lot of work. It was very, very painful.
When did you start to think the team has a shot at the Super Bowl? When did that thought into your mind of Jimmy not allowed?
When we beat San Francisco, in the championship.
So let's say you were in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. When we beat San Francisco in the championship game, that was like, wow, we can actually do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then everybody back then knew that the NFC team, whoever the NFC team was going to win the Super Bowl. There was no, AFC had no chance. Because they played different type of football. They played a kind of a passive football. It wasn't aggressive. I mean, you just think about it. We had the Giants, oh my goodness, and Philadelphia and Washington. And
Green Bay.
Yeah, you knew one of those teams were going to the Super Bowl, and we had to face some of them teams twice in a year, and that basically decided everything, and it was we had no clue, and that the team was that good. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think, did anybody even get on the Pro Bowl from the defense? Nobody.
Not that year.
Yeah, we had the number one defense in the league, and every stroke. And number one defense in the league, and no one made the Super Pro Bowl. And we had no idea. I had no idea. It was, and I was just so happy that the season was over.
Because Jimmy would work these guys. I'm gonna tell you Jimmy's story. You don't remember this. Because I was fortunate enough to go to all the Super Bowls and all this stuff and fly with the team. And Jimmy got a degree in psychology, so he knew every trick in the book, and he was working these guys really, really hard. And by the time they got to the Super Bowl, he didn't want the team to feel like the Super Bowl was some great game that was more pressure than any other game they played in the season. So remember Super Bowl week, they're out there in Pasadena. Do you remember that? He had all these 2x4s and he made y'all walk across the 2x4s. Did you have to do that in your group?
I don't care.
He had, I think most of the team walked. He had put all these 2x4s on the field and he had them walk across these 2x4s. And then he said, was that hard? And of course it wasn't no big deal. He said, but imagine if a 2x4 was 10 feet in the air. Could you still walk across that 2x4? He said, I'm just trying to tell y'all that the Super Bowl ain't no different up there or down here. So when the crowd go crazy and you think this is the ultimate game, it's not. You played, this game ain't no different than any other game you played. Of course, they blew out the Buffalo Bills. The rest is history.
It's all about execution.
All about execution.
Yes, that's true.
Now, Timmy played for Tom Landry. He played for Jimmy 1 year and Tom Landry the rest of the years. Tell him about the fear of Landry, because Landry just stared down.
He was incredible. He had great communication skills. Wink. In the 9 years Coach Landry was my coach, I bet total we had a 15-minute conversation in 9 years. But he had a stare that could say, I like what you're doing. He had a stare that says, I don't think you're doing very well. And he had this stare that says, I'm going to cut you. The most amazing man I've ever met before in my life. He had the innate ability to communicate without saying a word.
The only words he ever said was, no, Danny, no.
Yeah.
What was the toughest place for you to play in, Timmy and Dixon? Visiting, you're on the road.
Philadelphia for me. Philadelphia.
San Francisco.
I watched. I will say in Philadelphia, I'll tell you a couple of quick stories about both places, about those fans. In Philadelphia, they would put batteries in snowballs and throw it on the field and the players.
I wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah. And they booed Santa Claus. I'll tell you one crazy story. Neither of those guys, when the Cowboys had T.O. on the squad, T.O. had played Philadelphia the year before, so his first trip back to Philadelphia, everybody thought it was going to be crazy because the Philadelphia fans hated T.O. And they had the team stay, not even in the city of Philadelphia, they stayed somewhere in New Jersey. And then the buses came, they had, first of all, the buses, whenever the Cowboys played in any city, they would always have police escort. Always. This time they had extra police escort, and they had barricades, and it was all about T.O. And before T.O. was the last player to get on the bus. They had a couple of buses. They have one bus that would leave early all the time. And the players want to get to the game early.
Yeah.
And then the rest, they have a media bus, and then they have the team buses all together. They have a police escort. T.O. was the last person to get on the bus. And he was soaking it all in, and he had his headphones on and his sunglasses. And I mean, they threw eggs, they threw bottles, and the buses made their way into the stadium, and then he was the last one off the bus, and he was doing all this. It was crazy.
Wow.
In San Francisco, the fans were kind of wild and crazy, but the field is below sea level. Well, Kansas City Park was below sea level, so the field was always mushy.
Oh yeah.
Always mushy. Hard to get traction. Yeah. And there was always rumors that they would water the fields down, even though they didn't. But it was just always mushy.
Yeah. A team did that in college.
What, water the field?
Yeah, Tim Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Notre Dame.
yeah, Notre Dame. So,
Tim Brown, Dallas is on Tim Brown, used to play for the Raiders.
yeah, the reason why Tim Brown got the Heisman is because he ran back two punts from against Michigan State, and I was on the punt team. And we all went down there and we just all slid. You break down, make a tackle or whatever, and everybody just slid and he went to the side and he was gone. It was like, wow. Yeah, did it twice. Yeah, we got in the Heisman.
What players do you enjoy watching the NFL today? Or if the team is on or a certain player is on, you stop down and watch?
Wow.
And it could be more than one.
I enjoy watching Peyton Manning throw the football. He is a machine when he gets in that line. He looks like he has total command of the offense. And he looks like a field general who calls his plays, he understands what he's doing, and he knows precisely when he needs to do it. So I'd have to say Peyton Manning.
I don't know if it would be actually an individual. I like the last season execution defensively for the 49ers. I liked how they performed as a group. And that's something that I'm used to seeing, 11 players playing as one, and I liked the execution that they had on defense for the 49ers last year.
I liked watching last season the read option quarterbacks. I liked watching RG3 and Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick. And the reason why I liked watching them was because you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if they were going to get knocked out. You didn't know if they were going to run it. You didn't know if they were going to pass it. I just like the fact that the defenses had to try to figure them out. Now, I wasn't pulling for any of them, but it was just something different. Everything else, execution-wise, offensively and defensively, you kind of know what to expect. And there's something great to be said about players executing and making plays that are exciting. But those guys, you didn't know what they were going to do as teams either said, oh, it's not going to last, it's not going to be real, or they're going to get hurt. I just kept watching just to see, and all three of those teams made the playoffs. Seattle, San Francisco, and the Redskins all made the playoffs with those quarterbacks, doing things differently. So I want to see if they'll be able to do it again this year.
That was a question, actually, a follow-up that I had. Do you see defenses catching up to that? A lot of times when the offensive people comes around the next year or the year after. What do you think? Does defenses start to catch up with that more?
It's on defense. To bore you about it, I guess, it's all about procedures. If you see this in front of you, this is how you react. Everybody is on the same page. If they see something in front of them, then they react this way. And so it doesn't really matter what you do in front of them. It doesn't, unless somebody's just overly athletic or something like that. But if everybody follows procedures and they do it 99.9% efficient every time, there's nothing anybody can do against you. As a defensive player, where the hole in the defense is. Every defense has a hole in it. And then what everybody does is they rally to the hole. But you try to make the hole to where it's closer to the line of scrimmage than down the field. And if everybody runs for proper procedure and everybody rallies to the hole, and I don't think you can stop any offense. So, that's the boring side of it.
Well, the best indicator is what happened in the Super Bowl. the Baltimore Ravens were able to neutralize their quarterback when they had to. And the closer they got to the goal line to score, Ravens just started pressing, and putting a lot of pressure on them. And so they said, okay, you're going to throw the football before you're ready. And that's exactly what happened. The NFL is real good about taking away something you do very well. And so, although those guys are going to continue to have some success, I don't think it's going to be a system that will last a totally long time.
No, because, you know, it's like, what was Warren Moon when he was killing everybody?
Right.
What did they call it? The run and shoot.
Run and
Yeah,
shoot.
Warren Moon was killing everybody. Everybody was like, oh man, how are we going to stop this? And then eventually they put certain people in there and everybody followed the correct procedure and they stopped that, so.
Yeah, the team that stopped them was the Buffalo Bills. Now, here's what's so crazy about the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, everybody kind of laughs about the Buffalo Bills. That team went to 4 straight Super Bowls. And if the kicker had kicked the field goal in the first one, nobody would be thinking the Buffalo Bills are a joke. They would have won the first Super Bowl. I don't know if they would have ever won another one, but they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Their defense, Bruce Smith, made the Hall of Fame. They had lots of players on both sides of the ball that were very, very good. So to imagine somebody going to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row.
It's the AFC.
I would like to open this up. If anyone out there would like to ask these gentlemen a question, we have people here with microphones. Just raise your hand. Make sure we get someone over to you.